The idea was simple: walk across South America from ocean to ocean, jungle to jungle. But behind that simplicity was a longing that had haunted me for years, a dream that refused to fade no matter how many times I tried to ignore it. The continent called to me with its wildness, its mystery, and its promise of transformation. I imagined tracing a line across the map, not just as a route but as a thread connecting stories, landscapes, and lives. It wasn't a whim, but a need to understand a place at the pace of my own 2 feet. I wanted to feel the ground beneath me, to let the rhythm of my steps become a language for discovery. Each mile would be earned, every vista a reward for persistence. I wanted to strip away the noise of modern life and listen to the ancient pulse of the wild, to hear the wind in the trees, the distant call of birds, the hush of rivers winding through the forest. People asked, "Why walk?" as if the answer could be found in convenience or speed. My answer: you can't truly know a place from a window seat or a tour bus. The world outside becomes a blur, a moving painting you never touch. You miss the scent of rain on earth, the texture of the trail, the subtle changes in the air as you cross invisible borders. To know a land, you must feel its heat, its rain, its dust. You must earn its views. The sweat on your brow, the ache in your legs, the sting of sun and the chill of sudden storms. These are the true introductions to a place. Only then do the landscapes reveal their secrets. This journey was about the space in between, the unwritten stories, and the slow transformation only a long walk can bring. It was about the silence that settles in after hours alone, the thoughts that rise up when there's nowhere to hide from yourself, and the unexpected kindness of strangers met along the way. Preparation was daunting: months of research, planning for dangers, snakes, rivers, political unrest, freezing passes, and the endless list of unknowns. I pored over maps, read stories from those who had gone before, and tried to imagine every possible challenge. The jungles could swallow you whole, their green depths hiding both beauty and peril. Rivers twisted like serpents, and the forest floor was a maze of roots and shadows. Every step forward would be a negotiation with the wild. Every detail mattered, from water filters to local guides. I learned to trust the wisdom of those who called these lands home, to respect their knowledge and traditions. Survival would depend on preparation, but also on humility and openness. The dream was beautiful, but the reality would be brutal. There would be days of exhaustion, moments of doubt, and obstacles I couldn't yet imagine. But that was the point. Adventure is never comfortable and growth is never easy. And so, with hope and a rucksack, I stood at the Atlantic's edge, ready to begin. The sand was cool beneath my boots, the horizon endless, and my heart full of anticipation and fear. Ahead, thousands of miles of unknown. Behind, everything familiar. I took a moment to look back, knowing that each step forward would carry me further from the life I knew, and deeper into the story I was meant to live. It was the ultimate leap of faith, a step into beauty and danger, into the heart of a continent and the depths of my own resolve. The dream was now a living adventure. It was time to walk, to let the journey shape me, and to discover what waited beyond the horizon. My journey truly began at the jungle's edge, a green wall daring me to enter. The boundary between civilization and wilderness felt razor thin, and as I stood there, heart pounding, I realized I was about to step into a world that would test every sense, every instinct. The anticipation was electric, tinged with a hint of fear and a surge of excitement. The air thickened, heavy with moisture, and the scent of earth and life. Each breath was a reminder that the world around me was alive, pulsing with unseen energy. The jungle transformed into a living, breathing organism, its heartbeat echoing in the distant calls of birds and the rustle of leaves overhead. The jungle's density was overwhelming. Every step was a challenge through tangled roots and relentless humidity. My boots sank into the soft, muddy ground, and vines seemed to reach out, tugging at my legs as if testing my resolve. The forest floor was a maze of obstacles, each one demanding focus and determination. My guide hacked a path, and I learned quickly: the jungle sets the pace, not you. Every swing of the machete was a reminder that progress here was measured in patience, not speed. I watched, absorbing every movement, realizing that survival depended on adapting to the jungle's rhythm. Disorientation was easy. Trust in the guide and the compass was essential. The dense canopy blocked the sun, and every direction looked the same. I learned to rely on subtle cues, to trust the experience of those who knew these paths, and to accept that sometimes feeling lost was part of the journey. The forest demanded patience, surrender, and respect. It was a place where rushing led only to exhaustion and where stillness revealed hidden wonders, a flash of color, a distant call, the intricate patterns of life woven into every inch of green. My city impatience faded, replaced by a rhythm dictated by sun and terrain. I found myself moving slower, more deliberately, attuned to the subtle changes in light and sound. The jungle taught me to let go of control and simply be present. I learned to read the forest's signs and listen to its warnings. Every broken twig, every distant call, every shift in the wind carried meaning. The jungle spoke in a language of details, and I was slowly learning to understand. I was no longer just an observer, I was part of the jungle's vast green puzzle. The boundaries between myself and the wild began to blur, and I felt a sense of belonging I'd never known before. The journey had truly begun, and the jungle was my first great teacher. With every step, I was humbled, challenged, and awakened to the mysteries of this green abyss. The jungle teems with life, most of it unseen, watching from the shadows. One day my guide pointed out a fer-de-lance snake perfectly camouflaged above our path, a silent, deadly reminder. Nights brought new dangers, the roar of jaguars, the rustle of unseen creatures, and the constant need for vigilance. The smallest threats, bullet ants, mosquitoes, scorpions, kept us on guard. Survival depended on routine check boots, shake hammocks, secure nets. Yet the wildlife was wondrous, capuchin monkeys leaping, hummingbirds flashing, sloths hanging in slow motion. These moments of beauty made the hardship worthwhile. The jungle was perilous but also a fragile paradise. Every encounter was a gift, a reminder of the world's wild magic. Here, danger and wonder lived side by side. The jungle demanded respect and offered awe in return. South America's rivers are both pathway and obstacle, vast, powerful, and unpredictable. Sometimes we followed their banks. Sometimes we built rafts or relied on guides to cross. Calm waters brought tranquility, canoes gliding, wildlife revealed, caimans, otters, macaws overhead. But rivers held dangers, strong currents, piranhas, lurking anacondas. Every crossing was a test of nerve and respect for the water's power. The river was a living force demanding humility. Rapids turned calm into chaos, our boat tossed, adrenaline surging, survival never guaranteed. Emerging safe on the other side felt like rebirth. The river tested us, then allowed us to pass. Each crossing was a lesson in humility and awe. The water was both a god and a gatekeeper. We were only ever guests, asking for safe passage. Leaving the jungle, the ground rose slowly then steeply into the Andes, the continent's spine. The air cooled and thinned, cloud forests replaced dense jungle, mist clinging to moss-draped trees. Climbing was grueling, altitude burned lungs, legs ached, and narrow paths hugged sheer drops. Weather shifted in moments, sun, rain, hail, mountains demanded respect, but the rewards, views above the clouds, condors soaring, ancient Inca ruins standing silent. Each step higher brought a sense of history and grandeur. Reaching the highest pass, over 15,000 feet, was pure triumph. The air was thin, but the view was worth every painful step. I saw the path behind, the valleys crossed, and the long road ahead. The mountains tested my limits but gave me clarity and awe. Here, I felt both small and resilient. Descending from the Andes, the Altiplano stretched before me, vast, windswept, and starkly beautiful. Life here was sparse but resilient, tough grasses, endless sky, silence louder than sound. In remote villages I met people living as they had for centuries, herding llamas, faces weathered by sun and wind. Hospitality was simple and genuine, shared meals, stories, and laughter, even without a common language. Their connection to the land was deep. It was their provider, their identity. These encounters taught me that happiness is rooted in connection, not possessions. The people of the Altiplano shared wisdom richer than any material gift. Their resilience and sense of community left a lasting impression. In their world I found a new perspective on what truly matters. Descending from the mountains, the world transformed. Air thickened, valleys turned lush, waterfalls fed swelling rivers. Life returned in abundance, insects buzzing, birds calling, jungle reclaiming the land. This second jungle felt different, perhaps because I was different. I moved with confidence, senses sharpened by the journey. The jungle was no longer chaos, but a familiar, if still wild, home. New species, new discoveries, each day a reminder of nature's richness. The end approached. Excitement mixed with sadness. The trail's rhythm had become my life. I knew I'd miss its simplicity. I tried to savor every last sight and sound. The journey was nearly over, but I wanted to remain present for every step. The jungle welcomed me back, changed and grateful. A journey like this strips you down to your essential self. Every step, every ache, and every moment of exhaustion peels away the layers of who you thought you were, revealing something raw and honest beneath. Out here, you can't hide behind routines or distractions. You're left with your thoughts, your determination, and the rhythm of your own breath. Out here, titles and wealth mean nothing. Only endurance and resilience matter. The trail doesn't care about your background or your achievements. It tests everyone equally, demanding patience, grit, and humility. You learn quickly that the only currency that counts is your willingness to keep moving forward, no matter how tough the path becomes. I discovered strength I never knew I had, both physical and mental. There were moments when my legs trembled and my spirit wavered, but I found reserves of courage and perseverance I never expected. Each challenge became a lesson in self-belief, teaching me that I was capable of more than I ever imagined. The trail taught me respect for nature's complexity and fragility. Every leaf, every bird call, every shift in the wind reminded me how interconnected and delicate this world is. I learned to tread lightly, to listen, and to appreciate the beauty and vulnerability of the wild places I passed through. I saw the threats, deforestation, pollution, up close. Protecting these places became personal. Witnessing the scars left by human hands made me realize how urgent it is to defend these landscapes. The trail opened my eyes to the responsibility we all share in preserving the earth for future generations. The greatest lessons came from people, guides, villagers, strangers who showed kindness and generosity. Their stories, laughter, and wisdom became as important as the miles I walked. They taught me that true wealth is measured in connection, not possessions. They valued community and land over material wealth. Their lives were rooted in cooperation and respect for the earth, reminding me that happiness often grows from simplicity and shared purpose. Despite differences, we shared the same hopes and fears. Around campfires and dinner tables, I realized that our dreams and struggles unite us no matter where we come from. Walking forced me to slow down, notice details, and connect deeply with the world and myself. The simple act of putting one foot in front of the other became a way to rediscover wonder in the ordinary, to find peace in the present moment. The slow pace became a meditation in motion. With each sunrise and every quiet pause by a river, I found clarity and gratitude growing within me. The true gift wasn't the destination, but the transformation along the way. The journey changed my perspective, teaching me to value growth over arrival. The trail changed me, and I carried its lessons forward, reminders of resilience, humility, and the quiet power of simply moving onward, step by step. At last I glimpsed the Pacific, a silver line on the horizon. Relief, joy, and a touch of sadness washed over me. The final mile was both the easiest and the hardest. My boots, worn and battered, carried the stories of a continent. Standing at the ocean's edge, I realized the dream was now a memory etched in my soul. The journey was harder and more rewarding than I'd imagined. It was a story of endurance, connection, and discovery. Stories like this remind us what's possible and inspire us to explore. Adventure is a mindset. Embrace the unknown. Thank you for walking this path with me. If these stories resonate, subscribe and join the community. The next adventure is just around the corner.